They expect you to stay quiet, to swallow hidden fees, put up with faulty products, and accept poor service as just the way it is. But you can demand better. Stand up, speak up, because with Which on your side, you can say no to bad business, buy with confidence, and get the service you deserve. Which, the power in you. Find out more at which.co.uk.
Driverless cars were the future once, but they could now finally be hitting British streets. Hello and welcome to Which Shorts, the podcast that gives you a free weekly insight into our magazines. Today I found a piece to share with you that was written by James O'Malley for the February-March issue of Which Tech, all about driverless cars. But not just any driverless cars, because 2026 will see driverless taxis hit British streets for the very first time. But there's more to it than meets the eye. A battle between different technologies at play, and which one ends up dominating the market may determine how accessible this new form of transport could become. Here's James's piece, adapted for the podcast, this week read by me, James Rowe. It's strange to think that after a century of science fiction and tomorrow's world features, driverless cars have now officially been invented. Right now, on the streets of San Francisco, Los Angeles and a handful of other US and Chinese cities, you can use an app to summon a driverless robotaxi which works just like ordering an Uber. These are full, commercial services that authorities in both countries consider safe enough to let loose without a human behind the wheel. Waymo, owned by Google, is the leader in California, while Amazon-owned Zoox runs cabs in Las Vegas. In China, a number of companies are working on the technology, including Apollo Go, which is owned by Baidu, essentially China's Google. And here's the exciting part. 2026 is when the driverless revolution comes to the UK. Well, Great Britain at least. The Automated Vehicles Act of 2024 doesn't apply in Northern Ireland. 3 companies will be launching driverless robotaxis in London. It's going to be a significant moment. Once all 3 services are up and running, it will transform the capital, at least, into a battle arena to settle a long-held debate about how driverless cars should work and could affect the entire future of the technology. Although launch dates haven't been pinned down yet, the contenders are Waymo and Apollo Go, which are both already operating in this space, and Wave, an independent British company already valued at more than $1 billion. And it's going to be fascinating to keep an eye on for a couple of reasons. First, it will be a real test of how driverless cars fare on British roads. For a long time, skeptics have pointed to the fact that Britain is very unlike California with its wide, straight roads and sunny weather. And although the technology has been tested for years, service in rainy, congested central London will really test whether driverless cars are here to stay. But then there is the second test, which might settle a big debate among self-driving technologists. The way driverless technology works, and the reason this tech is emerging now, is because it uses the same machine learning principles as AI. Instead of code being written to describe what to do in each situation, self-driving cars are trained. Essentially, they are fed millions of miles of data from cameras on cars, and then they learn to navigate safely. There's a huge difference between how Waymo and Apollo Go approach this and how Wave does things too. The established pair both use AI to recognise other vehicles and hazards, then take a rules-based approach. Fixed computer code has been written to, for example, tell the car to stop when it sees a stop sign. Their cars have expensive LiDAR scanners that fire out lasers to help navigate. Wave, meanwhile, does things differently, and London will be its first real-world deployment. It only uses cameras for navigation and takes an end-to-end training-based approach. At no point have coders told the cars what rules to follow. They've trained an AI model, and the cars then learn to drive safely on their own. We don't know which approach will work better in the long run, but why does the battle even matter? Well, the Waymo Apollo Go approach brought self-driving cars to the market much faster. However, if this wins, it could point to a significant limitation, as before operating in an area, it will require a detailed 3D scan of the area to be created, with every bump in the road mapped out digitally. This may mean driverless cars only ever work in dense cities. Not good if you live in a rural community where transport links are already limited. But if Wave is right, it could mean driverless cars can operate almost anywhere, even unmapped places, as the car will be able to figure out roads on its own. It could mean that driverless cars will soon be found not just in San Francisco or London, but everywhere. They might even go south of the river at night. That brings to an end another podcast from Which. There's loads more for you to read about everything we discussed today. Just head to the episode description for more useful everyday advice. There you'll also find an exclusive offer for podcast listeners like you to become a Which member for 50% off the usual price, giving you access to our product reviews, our app, one-to-one personalised buying advice and every issue of Which magazine across the year. Plus, your membership helps us to make life simpler, fairer and safer for everyone. If you'd like to know when we release a new episode, then make sure you press subscribe wherever you're listening. That way you can be one of the first to listen. And for any questions, comments or anything in between, follow us on social media at WhitchUK or email us podcasts@which.co.uk. Goodbye.
Looking to book a getaway in 2026? Why not try Which Travel Brand of the Year Trail Finders? Right now, Which members can save £100 on any 7-night or more holiday that includes flights. Just head to which.co.uk/trailfinders to find out more. Not a Which member? Get 50% off a membership right now. Go to which.co.uk/podcast offer to get involved. T's and C's apply.